So how inflation basically works is when prices go up. In particular, you'll see, for example, rents go sky high. Back in the 80s, you'll notice that. And if you take a moment, you just backtrack some history, or a matter of fact, you can even use AI to tell you about some of the history so you can actually understand about inflation. Inflation, prices go up, and it's driven from a lot of reasons for that. It could be supply and demand. For example, I personally think the inflation that we've experienced was because of the shutdown of COVID. And what happens is when supply is not being manufactured in that particular case example, and all this stuff starts slowing down and comes to a halt for about a year, 2 years, a year and a half, nothing is being processed or manufactured. And what happens once it starts up again, like the world started up, it takes a while to get that going. So in the meantime, what does that mean? Whatever was in the market as the supply, it was super expensive because it was very limited. The supply is really tight. Therefore, the demand is really high. Very similar to a lot of different other sectors. But I've come to a conclusion, and this is the first time in my life, at 56 years old, even creating financial freedom. And when I say financial freedom, what I'm facing is generational freedom. It's a serious situation that I've created. I'm really excited, but yet it's a whole different level. And what's worked for me, and I really never seen the true inflation like we've just experienced, after COVID. But what helped me understand inflation, and what I'm hoping other people can maybe just fixate themselves on this. Inflation means, just imagine, it's a constant inflation. That can be 3% a year, 5% a year, 20% a year. The point I'm trying to make, it's going up. Every single year, your phone bill, your cell phone, whatever, your groceries, you can assure it goes up. And what happened with me to understand about inflation was I never seen it. I always read about it. You should only focus on revenue. Your revenue has to be going up. 3x, 2x, 10x, 5x, whatever that target data point you want to create for yourself. If you just focus on and having a mindset like I did, prices are going up, prices are going up. Because what happened with me, everything was going up, but I was not going up. I was at my job and I was getting maybe 2 to 3% increase in pay, but everything else was 5 to 6%. It just didn't make sense, and that's why I became very frustrated. And then I realized, wow, if I can just focus on top line, my personal income, if I can just fixate myself on the income, I have no worries about inflation. And I would challenge a lot of people out there. Don't go down a rabbit hole on inflation. Go on a rabbit hole if you're really passionate, as I am, because it's great information. It'll create strategies in your life. But if you really want to really fly on a high level, just focus on your personal income. Well, Bobby, I'm only making $100,000, $70,000 for the last 5 years. Because you're not focused on the pivot. You're going to have to make a decision like I did. Well, this job was great for me for the last 5 years. Where is the ceiling? Because if I don't pivot and I don't make a change, a move, I'm only going to get 3%, 5% the next year. So basically, if I'm making $100,000 a year, next year I'll make $105,000. $5,000, $400 a month doesn't move the needle in your life. So imagine if you had that inflation mindset, as I did, is just to focus on personal income. You'll start really realizing I'm going to have to make a change to keep up with inflation. That's a real elementary level understanding about inflation. Prices just go up. In inflation areas, prices 10x go up, but prices are always going up. Yeah. Well, just think about it, just in inflational periods, and I think we're always in an inflational period. That's why I'm obsessed about personal income. Your dollar is truly worth 95 cents. So a lot of people are saving money, and they have $100,000 saved. But they really have, it's $95,000. It looks like $100,000 on your bank statement, on your savings account, but it's truly $95,000. And what I mean by that, if you would draw the $100,000 and put it to work, put it in the market, buy supplies, do whatever, to the market, it's only worth $95,000. It's only gonna buy you $95,000 worth of product or supply that you're utilizing for, an investment. It's only gonna buy you value of $95,000. Most people have a hard time with this. They think it says $100,000 in my bank, and if I pull it out, yes, I'll feel $100,000, but when I deploy it to wherever that may go, it's only worth $95,000 to the market. You're only receiving 95% of that $100,000. Now there is an argument. You'll get some pushback. You'll get some haters out there. You'll get somebody that will always challenge you. Well, Bobby, I'm making 5% in the bank right now. Good for you. So you're at par. If you just listen to what I had to say, your 100,000 is worth 95. Well, now the bank is paying you 5%. Well, now you're back up to 100. Yet it's not working for you. You're not on the plus side. That is the trick. This is why people have to understand how to understand money. What is your relationship with money? And I'm going to go over it again. If you're making 5%, which a lot of people are in their accounts today, and you have $10,000, you think you're making 5% on 10,000. You're not. You're making 5% on $9,500. It's not making you any money. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in inflational areas and periods, the number one asset you want to really own and have some sort of allocation is real estate. It's a hard asset. And what I love about real estate, primarily multifamily, I'm in the mindset I'm always in an inflational area. That's why I always want to be in real estate. It's always going to spin off from that investment, that hard asset, cash flow for me. Cash becomes really strong in inflational periods because it's the only thing that time's spitting cash and at the same time really hedging your investment. So it's very important. A lot of people don't have any idea of how they're really allocating all their money, and it doesn't mean you have to have a lot of money. You can have $10,000, guys, to be able to play this game, because if you don't start playing the game, you're never gonna win at the game. So you have to understand, where do I really wanna park my money? Something that's really simple, something I can feel, hear, smell. Maybe equities, means stock market, is too sophisticated for you right now. Maybe private equity, VC, venture capital is too sophisticated right now. Maybe the bonds and treasury market is too sophisticated. But everyone understands real estate. That's why me, as a 9th grade dropout, I failed the 3rd grade. I understood real estate because it's so easy to really connect the dots. And because of that, you're protected with this inflational periods we've seen. We're not gonna see the last. Right now, we have just seen the Feds reduce by 50 bips. November, they may go another 50, or I really strongly believe at least 25 bips. If you don't understand the magnitude of how that impacts the world, how to invest in that, what to do, you're not gonna understand money. And all you need to do is what Bobby did. Shuffle your focus a little bit here. And what I like to do, because I'm so visual, and I'm really, sometimes in the moment, I do this. If you do this right now, and if you do this, just right now, whoever's looking at me and hearing me, if you do this, just do it. And then you do this, and just start widening it, go wider. Wow, you start really seeing a different view. That's how simple it is. So sometimes we're so tunnel driven and giving so much energy and focus to so much of the stress we're dealing with, we don't see the actual solution.